Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic and this is another reaction for Overlord. It is episode 4 and we are still going strong. As always, you know how it is. If you want to see the reaction itself, please go down into my comments. You will find a link in the description, and if you follow this link and remove the parts and add dots into, you will see what I have just seen. Once you've seen my reaction, you are very welcome to come back here to hear out my thoughts and what I thought about this episode. And well, that's it. See you soon. For those of you who came back, welcome back. So that was a nice episode. I was grilling most of the time. I really had fun. It is so nice, this concept, this idea of showing it from the side of someone who's simply overpowerful. I mean, most of the series we all, I guess, have seen are someone struggling to get more and more powerful and finally being able to beat bigger monsters, bigger enemies, an arch rival, whatever, you know? Here we have the complete opposite. We are on the side of the big one, the one that is like, yeah, just go away, you know, swipes you and throws you away. And until now, we have not really found anything or anyone who could really harm him. Except possibly for his own allies in the tomb. I guess they might be strong enough. However, so it is more about what he already said to Albedo in this episode, and that is very important. Unless we know all about this world, unless we've seen this world, we should act very carefully and always think there might be something or someone who's able to destroy us or to endanger us. So that is a clever way, that is the right way what he's doing there. That's why he's moving very carefully, step by step on his way to take over this world. So interesting. I'm not 100% sure about why he used the head warrior the way he did. Yes, it might be he really just did it out of the insect opinion of like, I send him in as bait to see how strong the others are, and in case they are too strong, I just jump away, you know, teleport away. And if they are not, then I can still handle it. Sure, that is partially true, partially what he did. But I still want to believe, and a little bit do believe, that he is aware that the head warrior is really a good guy and doing it selflessly, what he does, and that Lord Eins somehow deep inside honors this. Maybe due to what we had in the last episode, one of his old comrades who taught him this lesson. Maybe because he, as a human that once played this character, still has this inner feelings. Not sure. I think we will learn more about that. I got another theory, another idea, which is a question which is coming into my mind since the last episode and was through this episode as well. So right now we are hearing two voices. We do hear Lord Eins, Momonga. Let's call him Lord Eins. Lord Eins talking in this very deep voice, you know, when he's talking to his to everyone, the character itself, the one we see. And from time to time we hear the inner voice of the player, which is inside, who is more, I think, younger and a little bit higher pitched, possibly a young man or boy who played this character. What I ask myself is, seeing the fact that he realized that some feelings are gone, he does not feel some emotions anymore. I ask myself if possibly this is happening to the inner voice as well. If there will be a merge, if there will be a moment when the player, the inner voice is completely gone and it is just the outer voice that is left, that it is one. Because right now it isn't. You still have like two souls here. You have the one that is inside, that is controlling, and you have the one that is the outer appearance, that is how he acts and how he behaves to the outside world. Ask myself if this will change, and it will be just somewhere in the future, in many episodes maybe, the moment when maybe even the Overlord does not remember anymore that he was a player, doesn't remember anymore that it was a game. Maybe, we will see. So that he kind of becomes a character in this world completely. Back to the story. So, the guys around the village who surrounded the village, it was a trap. It was the whole thing, the attacking of the village was a trap made by the theocracy to get rid of the royal head warrior. It makes sense. If you fight an enemy army and you want to weaken it, you try to kill the officers, you try to kill the general if possible. So then you have like a headless snake. A snake without the head is dead. So they are aware how good and how dangerous the head warrior is. So they set up a lure and a trap. The lure was to attack innocent villages. In this case, using fake Bahamut knights, so that the head warrior and some of his men would come charging, trying to defend the civilians, as he did. Once that would have happened, so they were aware that very, very likely it might be that the mercenaries they send in will die doing so, and they were like, possibly like, don't care. Once the head warrior and his men were in the village, the trap was sprung, and they had the summoners outside summoning those archangel flame, those angel-like creatures in silver armor with flaming swords, who seem to be a lower level monster or angel. Let's call it angel here. But for the normal people, for normal swordsmen, they would be possibly undefeatable. We've seen in the first strike that the head warrior did. He couldn't penetrate the armor completely. So without very good weaponry or high level fighting skills, you would have no chance against them. So it should have been a massacre. That's what they tried. They just were unlucky that in this case Lord Eins was there as well in the city, in the village, and he promised to the head warrior to defend the villagers and the village, or even with his name. Once again, there we are on the question. Did he really promise it because he thought it was the right thing to do, or did he promise it to make sure that the head warrior was going out to send him in as a bait? I still think he really wanted to help. So once that was clear that it was a trap, the head warrior, very paladin-like again, like in the last episode, the character, the player we've seen, Touch-san, bravely told his men to ride out with him, to face the opponent, try to break through if possible, and to lure them away. Very well aware of the fact that he's very, very likely to die, or at least many of his men to die in this cause. So there we have it, the positive guys. So right now what we see from the kingdom is a very, very positive picture. The kingdom, and standing for the kingdom, the head warrior seem to be at the moment the good guys who do everything for their people, who sacrifice their lives for their people. And we could see that again when the soldiers, the warriors, came charging back to help their leader, and as far as we've seen, all died doing so. So we had that again, the willingness to sacrifice for the greater good. The head warrior itself was willing to do this as well, once again in the end, which is the moment when Lord Eins switched places with him due to the little statue he gave him. So, question here is, I mean, so the statue had this ability so that he could listen in, possibly, and to switch places. So you might guess he planned that from the beginning. Question is, would he have stayed and fought if the enemy would have been very strong compared to him? Or would he then have teleported back to the tomb? I'm not sure. I mean, he made a promise to protect the villagers, so I'm not sure if he would have stayed. However, he heard that the captain of the theocracy, Nigun Grid Lewin, once again a character with a name who gets killed in the same episode, like in the last episode, Captain Belwin. So he heard him telling he will slaughter other civilians afterwards. So there we have it again. We have a white side, the kingdom, and we have a very dark looking side right now, the theocracy, which is funny. So the theocracy here is at least partially evil, killing innocents. You might ask if it is the captain only or if it is the whole theocracy itself. I think we will learn more about that. Funny for me is the fact that they are using angels who are in normal mystery, mystics and so on, the creatures of light itself, so of the good, and using these good creatures for evil purposes. Interesting. While on the other side we now have Lord Ainz, who is by outward appearance and what he stands for, and all of his, let's call it troops, his people in the guild, are ultimately evil. I mean, they are demons, succubi, and yes, we checked. So someone checked for me. Yes, Albedo is a succubi, and he himself is an Lich, possibly an Archlich, in my opinion. So they are the ultimate evil, but they are behaving good right now. I mean, mainly him. The others just follow along. Interesting. We could see some really high-level magical stuff going down there. So nullification of physics, black hole magic, summoning different tier angels, and everything. You know, it was just Dominion authority. It was just awesome. I liked the fact that really liked the fact that once the angels simply were evaporated, that the summoners lost their mind and started attacking, and they just put in all spells, and that was so cool. So they had not like everyone one spell, the same spell, you know. I've seen that in other series that like 10 magicians call the same spell and they, you know, like merge with each other's stuff. But instead everyone just blurred out the first spell that came to mind. So fireball, poison dart, whatever, gush of wind, exorcism, I don't know, everything, you know. Create wound and stuff. So that was cool because it showed, in my opinion, the panic. This moment when you're like, you feel more neither invincible, and then there's something completely wiping away whatever you thought in power you had, and you just like throw the first thing you have on your mind, and it was completely different. I like that a lot. So we had the position of someone who's overpowered, grinning into the face of those lower, and just, you know, playing a little bit with them. The highest tier level, the Dominion Authority level 7, was able to damage him, to damage Lord Ainz. So, and he said, so this is what pain feels like, which is good to know. So because we had the effect that he does not feel some stuff anymore, so at least some pain effect, damage effect he can feel. And I think that was interesting for him, so that he knows it in the future when he gets damage. That it is. That's a feeling when I get damage, when I get pain. It was funny to see that Albedo completely freaked out due to that. And the fact that she's like, no one is allowed to touch you. And before that, no one is allowed to fight you unless they have like a specific level they can reach. They're just not worth your time. And that's something we've seen in the past. So when you had like a chieftain or a king or anything, they very often had a fighter who fought into their behalf. On the one hand, to make sure that you as a leader don't have to own your fighting skills so much because you're busy about administration and stuff. But on the other hand, we had it in societies that there were people who were like, before you can even challenge the leader, you first have to go through me. And if you cannot beat me, then you're not worthy challenging the leader. So we see that here as well. And once again, the good versus light. Once he beat all the others, there was this different moment when the captain Nigun Gridluan said, "Spare our lives." No, doesn't matter. Just spare mine. You know, there's this moment again showing the difference in mindset. So the head warrior, the royal head warrior of the kingdom, said, "This village is in danger. We will ride out and, if necessary, sacrifice so that the villagers survive. Please make sure that the villagers survive." The captain of the theocracy said, "I don't care about the others. You can kill them all if you want, just spare my life." So, selflessness against completely selfishness. Very clear sides here. When they went back, Albedo was grinning, so she liked the way that they simply killed everyone. And he once again makes sure that his name now is changed from Momonga to Eins Olgon. We had this in the last episodes that he presented himself to the people of this world, but even inside of the tomb, he now makes clear for everyone, this is my new name, the name of the guild. And he does it so that once this name spreads, people will, if they are players from the game before, will say, "Oh, I remember, this is the guild. Isn't this number 1, 5, whatever they were guild? I think they were one of the most powerful, even possibly the powerful." So that makes sense to do that. Possibly more people would know the name of the guild instead of his name, although he was possibly quite famous as well. We've seen the last 2 Guardians, which were skipped, which haven't been part of the episode 2, I think it was, episode 1 and 2. I wrote them down, I think it was Gargantua and Victim. I guess those were the 2 kneeling on the left side. Maybe I'm wrong, they were not named there. And Albedo made sure that everyone knows that taking over this world is the goal. And they want to take over this world to present it to their overlord to make him happy. It might be this will be a bit of problem in the future in case of what the reasons for his actions are. He wants to do it because he wants to find other people, other players. They want to do it to give it as a gift to him, in this belief that he is the ultimate overlord and really wants to take over the world just for taking it, you know. Not sure about that. Not sure. We will see. But there was a really nice episode. I really liked it. Right now we're back in the tomb, so they already left the village. Otherwise, I would have thought that there would be like another discussion with the head warrior. But right now we are on a 0 level again. So question is, what happens next time? A lot of options. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the theocracy might react now. They have at least partially seen that their troop was slaughtered, and I'm pretty sure they know that the 7th level spell was used. So they are aware someone is there who was able to survive a 7th level spell or even beat it. So that's a danger for them, so they will have to react. I'm not sure if they will already do it in the next episode. I guess not. And then we have the head warrior. All of his men are gone. He is at least injured, possibly even heavily injured. Not sure about that. He might go search for them, but I guess even there he will go back to his king first and to report what has happened, and then maybe search for Lord Eins. He would be a very, very worthy ally to have, no question there. For both sides, I think. I think Lord Eins would be quite well off kind of allying with the kingdom. Question is, what does he get out of it? Is there something he really needs? Not sure. Except for information. I mean, that might be an option. So I don't see the head warrior either. Which brings me to the village. It's just a village, you know. Maybe, it's the closest one as it seems, but still not. So I guess the next episode will be more about characters from the tomb. What they are doing. Maybe about the hiding of the tomb and stuff like that. Or they will simply go out and try to start conquering. Right now, next episode will be a surprise in many ways. I don't see something very specific. We had no cliffhanger here, so let's be surprised, as it should be. I hope you liked that one. I definitely did. It was a nice episode. Showed the power potential, and they did what I asked for. They showed the amount of power he has on a scale. So we now know that, as example, the head warrior is very, very strong already, but I would guess about like level 4. The theocracy, when sending out someone with an important job, gave him a 1 level 7 spell on the hand, so you might guess they have higher stuff. So they might be a danger for him in the future. Right now, immediately, there seems not to be much endangering him, if he's on his guard. And there we are again. And he said that already, be on your guard when you go out. There might be more dangerous stuff out there. And I agree. So, that's it. We will hear from each other and from the 6 gods of the theocracy, whatever those 6 are, possibly in the next episode. Until then, have fun. Please like, follow, subscribe. Leave a comment if you want to. I always like that. And this is Relax and Panic. Goodbye and out.